Hi.
Let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Sergey. My organization is closely working with MAPS in effort to bring psychedelic medicines to Armenia. Armenia, Ukraine, these are the places where we have a lot of trauma, a lot of war trauma. In particular in 2020, Turkey and Armenia went into war with Azerbaijan. And as a result of this war, we had tens of thousands young vets who are struggling with various mental health disorders, and unfortunately those medicines are not really working for them. And that was the reason for me to get involved with MAPS, and MAPS was very, very generous in assisting us to help with the training, with the medicine, with the supervision, all kinds of things. And that's what I'm basically involved with.
Well, it's good to meet you. You know, as I was thinking about this discussion, and as I've been thinking about how we're going to integrate psychedelics with this model I've been talking about, one of the things that occurred to me is an experience that we've been going places where people thought mental health was only for the absolutely crazy, flat out crazy people who were wandering around disheveled and had to be led by the hand, and not for most people. But what we've discovered is that if people in the community benefit from what we have to offer, those people who are curious or adventurous enough, and they have a benefit, they can go back and talk to the community, and then that process of organizing becomes possible, that process of bringing a new approach. And so that's kind of what as I was thinking about coming and talking with you, what I was thinking about.
Absolutely, because Armenia is a small country with 3 million population, and having tens of thousands of people who are struggle with various mental health disorders, mostly PTSD, it won't be possible to access this many people with just one therapy. Even with the MAPS methodology, 2 therapies per 1 person, it will be really difficult. So we will be looking into group therapies, kind of trying to reach as many population as possible.
Yeah, so I'm really, now have you begun to do that yet? Or are you just getting ready to do it?
We haven't begun that yet, but we are actively working with the regulator to get all the permissions, and we also were waiting for the FDA to approve the MAC, hopefully very soon. And this will really open up the doors, because internationally there are 2 ways to register the medicine. One way is clinical trials. The other way, if it's registered somewhere else, you just bring all that documentation and submit to your regulator. So we are thinking of going the second route and bringing all that documentation and applying for the registration in Armenia for the MDMA therapy.
Yeah, as you're talking about regulation, I'm also thinking about leadership. That one of the ways that our work, we've been working with VAs quite a bit for the last 20-some years, but one of the ways, Veterans Administration hospitals and regions, but one of the ways we were able to work at scale is because the leader got it. And he actually read some things I said in the New York Times about our work in the Middle East, and he had the intelligence and the imagination to think, I want to bring this to my division of the VA that serves 1.6 million veterans. So I think, and this may be a part of the strategy, and I'm sort of looking at you and thinking, is getting leaders to come, getting, sort of having, and I'm sure you're doing some of this already, but getting people who are in positions of authority who are dealing with difficult problems. And I think this is one of the reasons why why the work that's been done with veterans has been so important, because they are generally recognized as a population that, first of all, everybody presumably is supposed to care about them, and most people do. And beyond that, the level of trauma is so high. So it's a very good place to begin the larger population-wide work with some of those veterans.
Absolutely. And in places like former Soviet Union countries, Armenia, Ukraine as well, and I'm sure you know this, doctors had so much authority. In some rural area, a doctor is treated like a god, And if a psychiatrist is not on board with this type of healing modalities, then whatever we do, however we reach, we won't succeed. So what we are thinking, and we've been discussing this with Matt too, maybe doing a training or a seminar for the doctors who are in a traditional healthcare, but don't know much basically about psychedelic healing modalities. Because if they are on board, if the medical community is on board, then people who hear about these healings will go to their psychiatrist and will get kind of a green light from them. And hopefully these people will also learn and start working with these modalities, seeing the benefits and seeing how wonderful change can be after this healing.
And yeah. It's also important that we encourage them to speak publicly. I think that's, people have to come out of the closet, so to speak. With PTSD, nobody talked about it much at all till recent years. And I remember we were working in 1999 during the war in Kosovo, working with the soldiers, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. And one of the reasons all those soldiers were willing to meditate, which they'd never done before, and get up and shake their bodies and dance, is because the commander, the general, Michel Maisonneuve, Canadian general, said, I've got PTSD. He was willing to say that about himself, and he was willing to do the techniques with them. So I think the same principle may well be true with psychedelics, getting leaders to have not only read the science, but have the experience and speak from that deep place.
Absolutely, that's a wonderful advice, and that's one of the good takeaways I'm taking from here. Thank you for that. Thank you for that advice, and we will be working with the leaders. Yes, absolutely.
So what are you hoping to do next?
The next, we are planning on doing training for our therapists in Sarajevo with MAPS, hopefully in August. And hopefully in fall we will start working with ketamine, which is already registered. Ketamine is registered in most of the part of the world. However, it's an anesthetic. It's registered as anesthetic, and there are some barriers to apply ketamine for the psychiatry and psychological purposes. So we're working with the regulator on that. Hopefully in fall we'll start working with ketamine, and once the approval process is done, then we will integrate the MDMA therapy, and we'll do a lot more training and a lot of education.
Yeah, what we're hoping to do is to use our model. Say we're doing 10 or 12, let's say 12 groups, and to alternate in some way sessions, perhaps initially with MDMA, with people with diagnosable PTSD, have a couple of sessions of a mind-body skills group where people learn, and Amy and I are working on this together, where people learn some basic skills, basic meditation. They learn how to also get up and move their bodies and just get rid of some of the tension and the shut down feeling that comes with post-traumatic stress. And then giving them experience of sharing what's going on in words and making drawings, then perhaps an MDMA session. Maybe in a group session, we have to figure that out with MDMA. Then an integration session, which is really a long check-in. And then another couple of sessions where people learn more skills. Then another medicine session. So we're kind of looking at how to put it together in a way so that we can use the model, use the medicine, and do it on a large scale, because the level of need is so great. So that's kind of where we are. That will be our big step.
I think we shall talk after this conversation. Maybe we can work something together with your organization. It sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
I would welcome that. This is important. This is all about, and I assume everybody here is doing, it's all about connecting with people. The two guys who were talking, the Israeli and the Palestinian. Yeah, I went up to them and I said, let's get together. And they said, yeah, we've heard about you guys. I said, okay, good. Let's see what we can do. And I think that, Rick, this is such a wonderful place to meet people and to sort of see what people can do with each other.
Absolutely. This whole conference was a bliss. Like seeing this many people, here 40,000 people. This is crazy. I was so emotionally touched. Like this is happening. This is when they say love in the air. Now is the psychedelics is in the air, and this is happening. And I want to applaud for this and thank Rick and the team for organizing this wonderful event. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, we don't have much time, and I can stay afterwards. I don't know if you can, Sergey, but I wonder if anybody had questions they wanted to raise with us. And somebody will have to translate from English to English because my hearing is so bad. But any questions, anybody? Yes? Stand up and say who you are.
I'm Alex. So I work in the medical field, so I'm really excited about what you are doing, and I'd like to kind of get trained and get involved in your work as much as I can.
Fantastic.
So if you could talk a little bit about how to get involved.
Okay, so, beautiful. Thank you for the question. I need your name, your email, and your title. And I'll give you cards if anyone wants a card. But we will send you information. The best way to get involved with us is to come to our training. We do 2 open trainings online a year right now, plus some in-person trainings. And you're welcome to the online training. The trainings are, the trainings here in the US, the online trainings, it's 2 5-day trainings. As I said earlier, the initial training, you learn the science, you experience and practice the techniques, and you experience a small group model. The advanced training, you learn how to use it with other people, then we can provide supervision. Everybody, all of our 150 faculty have come through our entire training program, have been certified by us, and that's by far the best way. The other possible way is if you want us to come to your community or your hospital, like Miguel Lapuz, the head of the largest division of the VA, or some of the other people, the Basil Braveheart from Pine Ridge Reservation invited us to come. And then we began talks, we came and we did workshops. I'm going to Boulder Community Hospital next week, I'm talking with people there. So that's another way, is to invite us into your community, and we will bring people there, we'll share what we have to offer and say, here it is. This is an invitation, if you're interested, we can proceed. And we've done that in many, many places as well. So those are the 2 basic ways. A third way, if there's anybody here who wants to help us raise money, we have to raise money. We're going to be looking for people to fill 2 important positions. And there'll be announcements about that will be going up on the Center for Mind Body Medicine website, and we're sending them out. We're going to need a new programs director and a new chief operating officer. So we'll let you know about that. We also need a programs coordinator. So if you get on the mailing list and you get connected, if you see opportunities, please step forward. And if you want us to come to your community, you can be in touch with me afterwards and we can talk about that as a possibility. Because things start small often, but then they can grow. We started working with occasional veterans from a whole variety of different VA systems. Now we're working with the largest VA system in the country, and one of the leaders in the whole national administration wants our work to be everywhere for veterans. But starting small and then growing with that. And please, we welcome you. We welcome you to be part of our community.
Yeah, and thank you for those words of wisdom. I think it's very important to start small. And thank you, Rick, for everything that you've done in starting small and how big it's gotten. So thank you, Dr. Gordon. Thank you, Sergey. And thank you, everybody here. We're looking forward to seeing you at 3 o'clock. Have a great break.